All right, back down here in the workshop. Got this carburetor off. Yeah, I should have just gone through the trouble of cleaning this before I put everything back together. It looked so good inside that tank, I thought maybe it would be okay, but then when I took this off of the tank, the little cup that is where this draws its fuel up from actually had some kind of murky looking stuff in there. So might have been some fuel, but it looked like it might have been mixed with a tinge of sediment or something. I don't know. And there's a little bit of staining on here. You can see this was probably sitting for a while. So my suspicion is that this right here, which is the pickup tube, is okay, and that the pump is drawing fuel up, because when I took this off, that cup did have some fuel in it, but it was mixing with that garbage that was in there. And I think what's happening is the cup's filling, and then I don't think this is drawing the fuel up, because I think this is probably completely clogged. This is the main jet right here. So I'm going to clean that out. And unfortunately, this gasket is pretty much destroyed. It's falling apart over here, and this part is actually getting down into that channel where it's not supposed to. Long story short, I can't reuse this gasket. So here's the air fuel mixture screw. In preparation for removal of this, I turned it in until it seats, which was exactly 1 1/4 turns. So I'll know that's where my start point will be when I put it back in later. And I'm taking this out so that I can clean this passage, just to see what the end of that looks like. Doesn't look too bad. I'll try and force anything down that main jet. It just seems to be backing up these 3 tiny holes that are on the side here. There's right around the peripheral of this. There's a just looks like 3 little holes here, and then there's the main one in the middle. Just going to use my welding torch tip cleaner set. See if we can't. There we go. And if I open the butterfly, I should be able to see that sticking through. Yep. All right, now let's see. Still seems to be backing up through those other holes, but that might be normal. Oh, but now there's some coming out in here, which is good. I think that might have been blocked, and I think I just cleared it. I'm pretty sure I get all my passengers cleaned. So now my problem is I need to get a new gasket. I don't want to be held up, so I happen to have a brand new carburetor, straight from China. Probably wondering, well, Steve, why aren't you just putting the new carburetor on and be done with it? Well, because this is made in China, and this is a genuine Briggs & Stratton carburetor. And I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If I can clean and rebuild a genuine Kohler or Walbro or whatever carburetor, and it works perfectly fine, I would rather have that any day of the week over a cheap Chinese clone one, because these are hit and miss. Sometimes they work out okay, sometimes they don't. But I'm just going to use the gasket, and I'm hoping that this gasket this gasket looks like it's going to be the same. All right, so I'm going to steal the gasket out of this kit and be done with it. So why did I buy that carburetor? Well, I bought that carburetor because when I started this whole project, The carburetor was on this thing was completely trashed. I mean, way beyond cleaning. So that's why. All right, so let's see. What is this big? Oh, that's interesting. So this gasket, this part of the gasket right here, this tail, is actually what goes underneath the bracket for the choke and shutoff levers. And oddly enough, for whatever reason, mine's in two pieces. So that must sit like that. Huh. Wonder why this I guess on some oh yeah, you know what? I've seen on some of these carburetors, there's an extra long screw that goes through right about here. And it would go through that hole right there, I guess. So this isn't quite the same. But I think this gasket will work. Yeah, I think the gasket will work fine. Alright, so this is funny. I just found a gasket like this. Actually, the correct one, perfect match, laying on the ground out there. It must have fallen off of the carburetor when I took it off of the tank, or the tank. So somebody either changed that tank or had this apart for whatever reason. I'm guessing somebody changed that tank, and the tank had a gasket stuck to it, and the carburetor still had a gasket stuck to it, and they just put it together like that, and there were two gaskets in there. So I can put this back in my my new Chinese carburetor kit in case I need it. Oh, it is so cold and raw out there. I am looking forward to finishing this up, hopefully. Alright, I got that all put back together for the most part, so let's head out there and see if it's gonna fly. What the heck's going on? Well, alrighty then. There's some gas in that cup, but I don't think there's enough. You see the level in there? Not a lot of gas in there at all. Rather than go all the way back downstairs, I'm just going to open up this fuel pump area right here. Well, that's bone dry, and that is a bad diaphragm. It's hard like plastic. Well, there's your problem right there, Steve. There's no gas in there whatsoever. Well, this side right here is where the vacuum is supposed to be actuating this diaphragm. So the fuel should be, this side right here should be wet with fuel. So, got a bad diaphragm. Alright, and this is what it should be like, all pliable and everything. This is super thin though. But hey, what do you want? I stole it out of a Chinese carburetor. Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully it's gonna work, because I gotta quit, because it is getting really cold now. wind has picked up and it started to spit again, only now instead of rain, it's almost like freezing rain. All right, I am actually gonna not even prime it. I am going to just try and start it this way. If the fuel pump's working correctly, it should take just a few cranks to get that pumping fuel. It would be no different than if you ran this out of fuel. If you ran this out of fuel, it would have to reprime that bowl too. So, all right, wish me luck. Oh, I got the choke off. I need to choke on. All right, so that's interesting. Alright, get the air filter housing back on and everything tightened up. This is the air filter that was in there. I would say, judging from what I'm seeing in there, something has gotten into here and eaten it. Till I have a chance to pick up a new air filter, I will reuse this one that came in the donor engine. It's actually dirty, but I can see light through it. So certainly better than nothing. All right, let's see if it's still warm enough to start with the choke off. Guess not. All right, now I just gotta Put this shroud back on. Warning, stop engine when servicing, cleaning, or installing attachments. Keep face, hands, and feet clear from intake. Yeah, no, that's kind of hard to do with the thing wide open like that, right? All right, so I put the front guard back on and attach the hose. So I'll start it up for Mark, and then Mark's going to demonstrate how wonderful this thing works. Mark says it's losing power, but I think it might be that this is all clogged. Yeah, I guess it's full.
That was fast.
Usually it does a better job of shredding them than it's doing now.
Maybe the blade's there.
Well, I'm noticing these leaves feel wet. That might be what it is.
Yeah, probably.
Usually it the leaves are, when they're drier, it'll like shred them. You know, it should be hot enough to start without the choke. Put it on the dump bed. All right, well, you get the gist of it. I think we'll call it a wrap. Seems to be working okay. I got to get a new, I think there's supposed to be some kind of a screen or something that goes like a secondary filter. That's why a lot of these little chunks of leaves and stuff that are coming out of here, they're not supposed to be blowing out of here.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be something that went in here, like a foam piece or something. See this?
Hopefully it doesn't backfire.